If you love The Lost Boys or From Dusk Till Dawn, but you were like, these movies are great, but I really think these movies could have been legendary if they were dripping in social commentary. Total missed opportunity. This week's Sinners just might be what you want to sink your fangs into. So put down your copy of White Fragility and lend me your attention in this week's episode of Movies Merica Live.
In a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
Howdy ho, everybody. Howdy ho. Welcome to this latest episode of Movies Merica Live here on this Easter Sunday. And happy Easter to everyone here on this blessed day. For he is risen, of course, okay? But I'm going to sidestep my celebration here for just maybe an hour or so, just to do this little thing I like to do called Movies Merica Live. I'm just going to kind of just fit it into my Easter Sunday here. And that way I can provide a nice little spoiler-free review of the movie Sinners, okay, which is kind of appropriate that we are talking about sinners on the day that we commemorate when Christ died on the cross to wash away all our sins, right? So it just works out beautifully right there, okay? But I just want to welcome my movie maniacs and my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics here to the show, along with everybody else there. And I already see that we do have my good buddy Beyond Formal up here in the live chat, checking us out there. And he says, Happy Easter, Van, and good to hear from you there as well there, Beyond Formal. And thanks for joining the show. And hopefully you're in the mood to hear a little bit about Sinners here. Spoiler free, of course, because I do not want to be that guy that spoils anything about this movie here and all of that stuff. So I don't think you guys are seeing me and hearing me okay right there. I just thought I saw what looked like kind of a little hesitation, a little freezing up there in the video and that kind of thing. And you know how it goes, that darn old internet, right? You're just kind of at the mercy of that, of Al Gore's worldwide interweb, and whether your live stream goes well or not, it's all up to Al Gore, right? Al Gore runs the worldwide internet, and hopefully Al Gore is smiling down on me today. There you go. So there's no smooth way to transition from that to what I want to say next, so I'm not even going to bother. But I just want to ask you guys if you would get in the live chat. If you guys are joining on YouTube or Rumble today, so you can get in the live chat on Rumble or YouTube, and just say hi or something like that, or give me a thumbs up, or put a poop emoji or something like that in there. That works, and it's all good right there. So because it makes things more interesting, not just for me but for you. If you're doing more than just sitting there and watching me talk about this movie, you can get in there and you can ask me questions about Sinners, the movie that is, or any other movie that you want, any other vampire movie, because this is a vampire movie, and so there's a whole plethora of other vampire movies out there that there's all loads of questions about and that kind of thing. So if you want to throw a question about, I've always had this question about the movie The Lost Boys there, Van. I've always wanted to get somebody else's perspective about it. What about that scene where Corey Haim and Corey Feldman, the Frog Brothers, or, just throw any question at me you want, and I'll be happy to try to answer that right there. But for right now, let's get into some Sinners. And so Sinners, it's directed by Ryan Coogler. You know him from Fruitvale Station and the Black Panther movies. and he did the first 2 Creed movies, and so he's been around. He's experienced as a director, and then he's got his what must be his favorite actor starring in this movie, Michael B. Jordan, and Michael B. Jordan does double duty in this movie here, where he plays identical twin brothers. And so the plot of this really is, because that's a good place to start with Michael B. Jordan playing identical twin brothers. So you're led to believe that they were muscle for Al Capone up in Chicago, and now they're coming back home to Mississippi, because you're given the impression that maybe they weren't so welcome in Chicago anymore, so they had to come down, pardon me, to Mississippi, or maybe they just wanted to stake their own claim. So they come back to Mississippi, where they're from, okay, and they want to start their own juke joint, or for us white people, a dance club. There you go. So we would call it like a country bar. We're doing our 2-step, but they call it a juke joint, where they're going to play blues music and gamble and all that kind of stuff, and get their drink on. And so they want to make money with this new juke joint down there. So they're down there for that purpose. They buy this old sawmill to turn it into this juke joint, and then they go to make sure they pick up their young cousin, who's like a blues guitarist and with great voice and all that stuff. They want him to play there, and then they're just kind of going, like, for the first half of the movie, they're just kind of going around, just prepping and making plans and grabbing various people to do various things for this big opening night of their new juke joint in Mississippi. Again, these twin brothers coming back down to Mississippi to make their fortune and that kind of thing. So that's really the plot of it. And then if you've seen any trailers for Sinners, and you see that, okay, all these people, they're having a great time at this party, this juke joint, and all of a sudden these vampires show up, and it becomes kind of like this assault on Precinct 13 kind of deal, or From Dusk Till Dawn kind of deal, where you get vampires showing up, and I got to fight the vampires and that kind of thing. And so, pardon me, apparently I get all choked up about this movie already. So that's the plot. Really, the broad strokes description of the plot of Sinners right here. And I'm not going to get any more in depth into the plot than that right there. But it also stars, it's got Hailee Steinfeld or Steinfeld. I've always struggled, like, how do you say her name? But Hailee Steinfeld, you might know her. She was like the little girl in True Grit, like 15 years ago with Jeff Bridges and Matt Damon. And then she was like a pop singer as well. And she's been in a bunch of other movies as well. So what was that? That she was in a pretty good Edge of 17. She was in that movie, I think, with Woody Harrelson. And she just plays like this adolescent girl that's, basically changing from a girl to a woman and all that stuff. And she's pretty good in that. And also Bumblebee. It's a kind of a offshoot of the Transformers movie, but it's actually good. So Bumblebee is actually one of the few good Transformers movies, and Hailee Steinfeld stars in that. Also has Miles Caton or Caton, Delroy, Lindo, and Jack O'Connell stars in this movie as well there. So, and you got a pretty big cast of characters in this movie, because this movie is, you could tell, it's pretty big budget. I think it's probably at the biggest budget maybe that Ryan Coogler's ever had for a movie outside of maybe the Black Panther movies there. But now, speaking of Ryan Coogler, I do like how Ryan Coogler put this story containing vampires down in the South and in this 1930s time period that this takes place in. Because remember, I said, they're muscle for Al Capone up in Chicago. Well, I should tell you right there, this doesn't take place in present day. This is 1930s. Okay, this is way, way, way back in the day. And that's not something we typically see with vampire movies, it being set so far back in time. And it's intriguing because it reminds you how the fictitious existence of vampires has spanned centuries, according to vampire lore, right? You get movies where some vampire movies just take place in present day, right? Like Fright Night, when that came out in 1985. Fright Night was like just vampires in the present day. You got the Hunger that takes place in present day. What's the Underworld. Underworld. I mean, well, I guess Underworld does show like vampires way back in the day, but typically, yeah, you see movies, and I like the vampire movies where it shows vampires spanning for centuries. They live for centuries, and that all that kind of stuff right there. And another good movie that does an especially good job of illustrating that whole vampire, spanning centuries is Interview with the Vampire. Remember back in '94 with Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt and Kirsten Dunst and Antonio Banderas, based on the Anne Rice novel Interview with a Vampire there. However, I can't help thinking that Ryan Coogler, again the director, I can't help thinking that he set it back in this time so he could interweave some black good, whitey bad into the subtext of the movie seamlessly. Okay, and I say seamlessly because there was, of course, back then, real rampant systemic racism back in this time. There is no doubt that was true there. And, because, you had the KKK and the Jim Crow laws created by Democrat state legislatures in the South back then. So it's not a stretch to incorporate some divisiveness into this movie under the surface and then package it as a crime drama / vampire flick. And, since Coogler decided mixing Spike Lee with Christopher Lee was a good idea, it makes this movie not near as entertaining as other vampire movies like From Dusk Till Dawn and Near Dark. And I mentioned those two movies because they're also two vampire movies that also attempted mixing the vampire genre with another genre. Okay, like From Dusk Till Dawn, remember George Clooney, Quentin Tarantino, the smoking hot Salma Hayek, right? Harvey Keitel, back in 1996 or whenever that came out. From Dusk Till Dawn, and incorporated a crime thriller in with its vampires. And then Near Dark, directed by Catherine Bigelow, who would later on win an Academy Award for Best Director for Zero Dark Thirty. And actually, no, it was The Hurt Locker. Yeah, she won it for The Hurt Locker. And then I think she was nominated for Best Director also for Zero Dark 30. But so Catherine Bigelow directed Near Dark with, the late, great Bill Paxton and Lance Henriksen and who else was in that? Like Adrian Pasdar and Tim Thomerson back in the 80s. And Near Dark, again, that was another vampire movie that mixed another genre with it. Near Dark, also set in the South, like Sinners, added in like this Western movie feel to its Bloodsuckers, all right? So those two movies did all that, but unlike Sinners, those two movies wisely left the black good, whitey bad TED Talk on the cutting room floor there. So, and it just makes those movies that much more exciting and all that. So, and hey, Lindo Rig 87, welcome to the show. Good to see you right here. And he brings up a good point. I thought Abraham Lincoln killed all the vampires right there. So, well, apparently he didn't get all of them right there because as we all know from that fantastic movie, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, yeah, he was out there just slaying vampires out there. But apparently he missed a couple here and there and that kind of thing. And so they've reared their ugly head in the movie Sinners right there. Absolutely. All right. So real quick here, actually. So if you would, just while it's on top of mind here, if you guys would go ahead and hit that like button down there, if you're liking what you're hearing down here, by all means, go ahead and do that. It's very easy. Okay. It doesn't cost you a dime. And that like button, you'll get that like button to stop giving you the old side eye, that kind of like guilt tripping side eye. Like, you're gonna click on me, right? Yeah. So if you want to just make that all go away, just do what the like button asks or demands or whatever, and click on that like button. Excuse me. If you would, right there, okay? And then also, if you would, hit the follow or subscribe button because last time I checked, my Rumble Movies America page is up to 199 followers on there, okay? Just one away from 200, okay? Says, because, I mean, I suck at math, but even I know that 199 is one away from 200. So if you would, hit the follow button on Rumble if you haven't already right there. Let's get this guy up to 200. I know it's a measly little number compared to the Nerdrotics and the Tim Pools and the Doctor, what was that, Doctor Disrespect or whatever, all those big, the big guys, right? The big channels and that kind of thing. So, but for the little guys like me, the wee little guys, 200. We'll take what we can, right? Well, I'll take the scraps. I'm like the Rumble creator equivalent of some dog, sitting, on the floor right by your dinner table, just looking up like, will you throw some followers down to me, please? Can we throw some food down? I'm really, really hungry over here. So yeah, that's me. All pathetic. Just scraping and pawing and begging for followers over here. So it really is quite pathetic. But anyway, you got to do what you got to do, right? But then also there's another button there, the notification bell. If you would click on that, and then that will notify you when there's a hot, brand new, fresh, piping hot, brand new episode of Movies America waiting just for your consumption right there. So you'll hear ding, 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 ding when that happens right there. All right. And then also, hey, get in the live chat again. As I mentioned, we got Lindy Rig 87 and Beyond Formal in the live chat right here on this Easter Sunday. And hopefully we get some people in the live chat to join them right there. So, and also check out, look up Lindy Rig 87 and Beyond Formal on Rumble, because they've also got their own great channels on Rumble there, and you can check out all their great shows and all their episodes there as well. So, and also I should mention, if you're not watching me live and you kind of missed out your chance for us to live chat back and forth with each other, no big deal. We can still communicate together. That is done via the comments section down below there, and you can put a comment in there. And believe me, I do read the comments. I'm not one of those ones that like, oh man, somebody might have said something bad about me down in the comments. Oh my God, I'm never going to read those comments. My feelings might get hurt. Now I've got thick skin. I'll go there and I will check out the comments, and I've had a few bad comments, which actually they crack me up more than they distress me or anything like that. So I love them. So I love the bad comments just as much as I love the comments brimming with compliments and all of that good stuff. But anyway, enough of that right there. But there we go. Exactly. Linda Rig 87 right there. We're lonely here in the chat. Please come play with us, Danny. Play with us, Danny. Yes, there you go. Name that movie, huh? Those creepy little girls. That creepy movie. So, but of which I'm not going to divulge the name to right there. And unfortunately, I don't have any reward or prize for you if you guess correctly. You just get the satisfaction of being correct right there. Absolutely. So, all right, I'm going to take a little tug off my brewski here, which I will be going over in more detail later on in brew review time. There we go. Need that right there. And I'd say that's a good guess, Lenny Ring 87, but it's not. Twilight. There you go. I knew it. Yes, I knew he was a Twilighter there. So what is it? What is it with those movies like Team Edward, and what's the other one? Team something. I don't know. Who cares? All right. On to more Sinners, shall we, right there. But I think Michael Jordan, well, it's technically Michael Jordan, but with the B in the beginning or in the middle. Michael B. Jordan, he does a good job at playing a dual role in playing brothers here, like I mentioned before. And one of the brothers is nicknamed Smoke, and then the other one is nicknamed Stacks. Get it? Smokestack. All right. And Smoke is the more stoic of the two, and then Stacks is like the more brash, cartoonish brother. And Jordan, he effectively plays both. I mean, Jordan's a good actor. I mean, he was good as Killmonger in the first Black Panther movie. He was good in Fruitvale Station, and I'm trying to think what else I've seen him that he's pretty good in as well. But he's not a bad actor or anything like that. So he kind of does need to stretch his acting chops a little bit. So kind of like think like Matthew McConaughey in the Dallas Buyers Club. Like Matthew McConaughey was known as like like the king of the rom coms and always playing like the the handsome leading man in movies and that kind of thing. And then he really like broadened his acting horizons with the Dallas Buyers Club, where he played like a rather kind of more sad, pathetic character and that kind of thing, just stretching his acting chops. And I think Michael B. Jordan could help, or I think he could enhance his career if he did something like that. So, but if I had to choose, I do like how Michael B. Jordan, how he played Smoke best, because as Smoke, he has to show a lot of emotion as that character, since that character has, let's just say, he's really been through it. Okay, his character is portrayed as really being through it. But enough about Michael B. Jordan. The standout of the movie, hands down, is this new guy named Miles Caton or Caton. I apologize for butchering his last name right there, but he plays Smoke and Stack's little cousin, going by the name of Preacher Boy Sammy, or just Sammy, who he's like a phenom on the blues guitar, and he has like this angelic, soulful voice that belies his young age. There, it's not quite to the point where, if you guys have ever seen the great underrated comedy movie Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story, like back like from 15 years ago, whatever, with John C. Riley or whatever, and he plays Dewey Cox. And they have this scene where he's like a kid, he's like 8 years old or something like that, and somebody gives him a guitar, and they're like, "Oh, this little kid, he's not gonna be able to play the blues. He can't even play the guitar." He starts strumming the guitar, and here's this 8-year-old kid. He's like, "I sing the blues. I had a woman say she broke my heart." He's just got this adult blues voice, but he's like an 8-year-old chubby little kid. It's an hilarious movie. So Sinners with the character of Sammy isn't quite that exaggerated, but he's portrayed as he was like, I don't know, 18, 19 years old or something like that. And but his blues voice really makes him sound older than he is. It sounds great. It sounds fantastic there. So, and then there is a scene where he's in the car with his cousin Stax, and Stax is like, "Hey, you got that guitar right there. Why don't you pick it up? Let's play that guitar. It's not just, shouldn't just sit there. Pick that guitar up and let's get you strumming, right?" And so he's playing the guitar for his cousin in the car. They're driving down the road, and then all of a sudden, Sammy starts singing, and apparently his cousin Stax has never heard him sing before. And when he starts singing, it provokes like this massive shocked face from Stax. And it's just an awesome moment in this movie right there, because Stax, he's driving and he's like, "Oh my God. Whoa," just like hearing his fantastic voice right there. And then, of course, because of that, his cousins want him to play at their new juke joint for good reason. The guy's got talent, but it sounds like they just knew that he played the guitar. It sounds like they didn't know that he actually had a great voice as well. So now, turns out his music is not just great, it's devilishly great, because his music is so devilishly great, it draws the presence of another standout in the movie Sinners, and that would be Jack O'Connell playing Remick, the truly evil and devious leader of the vampires. Okay, and he's bewitched by Sammy's sweet bluesy talent, and Remick wants it all for himself. And O'Connell plays Remick in this kind of this playfully teasing but murderous way, sort of reminiscent of Robert De Niro's Max Cady character in Cape Fear, like Martin Scorsese's remake of Cape Fear, like way back in like 1991 there. But Robert De Niro, I mean, the guy's a jerk off in real life, but he was good as Max Cady in that movie right there. And so Jack O'Connell kind of plays it like De Niro played that character right there, and it's very chilling. And no one else really stands out in this movie other than who I've already mentioned here. Now, I know that some are raving about Delroy Lindo's performance. It's fine, but it's not all that some are cracking it up to be. Now, on a side note, I should mention this here before I forget. Check out Miles Caton's music on the Sinners soundtrack because he's got multiple tracks on the soundtrack right there, and he's good. This guy's talented as hell. And he looks like he's like in his early 20s or something like that. So it's got a bright future. Okay, and so he sounds really good. His blues guitar, his blues music talents are just like stratospheric, just woo through the roof here. And now that his talent, that's not something that's not overrated whatsoever. Right there, he's very very good at what he does right there. All right, everybody, let's check here and another guess from Lindy Ring 87. Harry Potter. You're a wizard, Harry. No, not really close at all. So there you go. But you know what? Hey, you're giving it your all there, Lindy. Giving it your all right there. Points for effort. That is for sure right there. And all right. So let's get into a thirst quenching segment here that I do for every Movies America episode here as I'm choking over here. So I've got this like cold I've been like dealing with for like weeks here. So I gotta get out of this. I gotta do something here about that. But anyway, I know it's very fascinating right there. So I'm gonna save you guys from having to hear me bitch about having a cold here with a little brew review time. Oh, right there. Say hello to my little friend, a little BJ's Brewhouse Jeremiah Red. There you go. This is a little Irish style ale, and this is brewed by the restaurant chain known as BJ's Brewhouse. There, I know we have them all over in the metropolitan area that I live in now. I don't know like if they're nationwide or not, but BJ's Brewhouse, they're all over the area that I live in right now. I mean, you go into their restaurants, they just have a bunch of taps of all their home brewed brews in there. And Jeremiah Red is one of them here. And this is brewed, they say it's brewed with a secret blend of 5 imported specialty malts. So, 5 imported specialty malts right there. And it's brewed with roasted barley and kilned malts. And it's an amber. It's an amber with a malty body here. So, and it is malty. They're not lying about that. And it's said that it has notes of caramel and toffee and butter, but let me try some here. Yeah, I still just get the toffee. I don't get the caramel or the butter in this. So I'm not saying they're lying. I just might not have the most refined palate or anything like that. But I mean, it's the beer's okay. But personally, I'd rather just pick me up a pack of Smithwick's red ale over this any day of the week right there. And it's got a ABV or a alcohol by volume rating of 7.3. And it's a 25 on the IBU scale, which stands for International Bitterness Units there. But yeah, you can do better than Jeremiah Red, but you can do a whole lot worse than Jeremiah Red. Can I say Red Dog? There you go. But that's not bad. But I'm going to take another tug off this because, yeah, my throat is getting sore. So this thing might help. Oh, yeah. Jeremiah Red, do your worst. Help me out with that sore throat. There you go. All right. So, yeah, that's the latest brew review right there with a little BJ's Brewhouse. Jeremiah Red. There you go. I must be getting old. I have to look at the beer can and remember the name. But also that it is kind of a forgettable beer there. All right. But with that, that's been brew review time. All right, here we go. Let's mix it up here a little bit. And let me tell you all about something that you're going to want to get your hands on here because you I'm sure you've got people that you want to buy gifts for, or maybe you're like, you know what, I got too much money burning a hole in my pocket, and so I've got the cure for you, and that would be some Movies America merch right there. As I beer burp all over you, not very classy. I apologize. Yeah, get yourself some Movies America merch right there, and as you see down below, you got a Movies America t-shirt, and we got t-shirts for other shows on the Till Death Podcast Network as well. But yeah, you can just click on the merch link in the description down below, all right? Making it very easy for you. And then get down there and click on that. And then, yeah, you get yourself, we got more than just a Movies America t-shirt. We got Movies America shot glasses and pint glasses and phone cases and yoga pants. And I think we got like some Movies America pendants or like an ankle bracelet. There's all kinds of stuff where you're like, whoa, Movies America? There's something with the Movies America logo like that on there, so that kind of thing. So I mean, maybe we have a number of auto parts on there, like maybe we have some brakes, maybe some fan belts, with probably don't have those right there. So, but maybe you never know. You never know. You might one day walk into your local auto zone. There's a whole row of Movies America auto parts there. You never know, but that time is not now. Okay, but as you see down below, when you pick out your Movies America merch, you get it in the shopping cart there. The overlay is wrong. You got to put the promo code MOVIES in, not whiskey. Put promo code MOVIES in, and you are going to get free shipping on your merch right there, everybody. I know, pretty sweet, right? Pretty sweet. So get yourself some sweet, sweet merch. And like I intimated before, it's good for gift giving as well there. So earn yourself some points with the missus or the mister, or maybe with your mother or father or whoever, with give the gift of Movies America right there. Absolutely. So all right, and as always, I do have random thoughts on every movie that I spoiler free review on Movies America Live every Sunday. And my first random thought about Sinners is I did like the look and the capabilities that Ryan Coogler, again, the director and the sole writer of this movie, I like the look and the capabilities that he gave to the vampires. They do look sufficiently scary, and when they're not trying to scheme their way into getting a good bite into you, they pounce, attack, and feed like ferocious animals. And then the glowing eyes that Coogler gives them are very, very effective and creepy in a couple of scenes, including one scene that involves their glowing eyes and fireflies. Okay, so I'll just leave it at that. Very kind of creepy. Okay, so this movie isn't all bad, just to say that. And I like how they keep their grotesque injuries that characters suffer if whoever turned them into a vampire got a tad overzealous with their attack. Okay, because as you see in this movie, when a vampire attacks somebody to turn them to to join them, or to get them to make them a member of the old vampire family right there. A few of them get a little too overzealous, and they're like, hey, you don't have to eat half their face off, okay, to turn them. A simple bite to the neck will do, okay? You don't have to, chew their ears off or something like that. But I do like how they do keep their grotesque injuries after, after they are turned to a vampire. And, the CGI, I have to say the CGI was also decent in this movie with the kills and the fire effects with the vampires and the sunrise, and how the sunrise burns vampires to a crisp and all that. So the CGI was decent. Okay, it held up there. And then another random thought about Sinners is there is a mid-credit scene and an end of the credit scene. So keep that in mind if you're tempted to leapfrog out of your seat and scurry for the exit as soon as the end credits start. Now, if you don't like the movie, you're probably not going to be real fired up to stick around. And hey, that's your prerogative right there. But as much as I think this movie is overrated, and it definitely is overrated because that's all I hear is people just slobbering all over this movie left and right with other movie reviewers and that kind of thing. But I am not one of them. I think this movie is overrated. So, but again, as much as I do think this movie is overrated, I did like the mid-credits scene. It is captivating, and it does feature a certain real-life legendary blues guitarist who definitely holds his own in the acting department in that mid-credits scene. The end credits scene, take it or leave it. You don't have to stick around for the end credits scene whatsoever. It's not really much of anything there, so it's good to go to just once the mid credit scene ends there, then you can leapfrog out of your seat and scurry for the exits just fine right there. All right, so okay, so let me tell you here right now a little something about a great sponsor that I have for this show right there. And that would be the sponsor of Flip City Magazine. All right. So, and I can't tell you how honored and psyched I am. Yeah, Flip City Magazine have the sponsor this show right there. If I could yammer that out there, got to get my voice working here today. But if you have an inquisitive mind, you may be wondering, "Hey, Van, what is Flip City Magazine?" Well, I shall tell you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So, Flip City Magazine is quite simply, it's a funny magazine. It's a humor magazine. So, remember like Mad Magazine and Crack Magazine back in the day? You could dependably pick up one of those magazines and you can get yourself a couple of good giggles and you were good to go. Now, Flip City Magazine, it does the exact same thing, but I think you're going to get more than just a couple of giggles from Flip City Magazine. But the advantage that Flip City Magazine has over those other two magazines is they haven't allowed themselves to be assimilated into the woke Borg, okay? And Flip City, their only priority, their one and only priority is cracking you up, okay? And to that end, when you read Flip City, word of caution, might want to read it on the toilet because it's so funny you might end up pissing yourself right there. So don't be that guy or gal that's reading it on the bus, and next thing you know, you're sitting in a puddle and it ain't raining. Okay, don't save yourself that trouble right there, all right? But hey, instead of listening to me yap about Flip City, hear it straight from the professionals. Yep, there we go. Oh man, there we go. My screen flipped on me right there. There we go. Now I'm where I'm at right there. So there we go. Pardon, pardon the technical difficulties. I'm going to blame it on that. So here we go.
I love Flip City. It has brought new types of badassery and integrity to the print medium.
Genuinely cutting, but also funny, and obviously just chaotic and very fun.
All right. So right now you should be chomping at the bit. You should be salivating at the prospect of getting yourself a Flip City subscription right there. And so we're going to make it very simple for you because that's what I am. I'm very simple. And I want to make it simple for everybody else there as well. And the way that we're making it simple is we've got the Flip City link in the description down below for you. All right, there you go. So you've got no excuse. All right, or you definitely don't have the excuse of, I don't know how to get to the Flip City link. Where is it? It's so hard to find. Nope, very easy to find. It's very easy to find because we put it right down in the description right there. That's a nice try. Nice try, okay? So, yeah, click on that Flip City link in the description and get yourself a subscription to Flip City Magazine. And then if you put in promo code MOVIES, you're going to get 10% off your order of the best non-woke magazine around right there. And then, of course, if you already have a subscription yourself, you could always give a gift subscription to someone right there. And, just share the Flip City love with everybody right there, with somebody that you care about. There you go. So get yourself some Flip City and dig that right there. Crack yourself up. It's good to go. All right. And just reminding you guys, this Thursday night is going to be the Movies Merica Spoiler Warning Show. And that's going to be all about Sinners. So in this show you're watching right now, I do try to be spoiler free, okay? But with the show on Thursday night, Movies Merica Spoiler Warning, I am not going to try to be careful in avoiding spoilers, okay? Now, I don't twist myself into a pretzel and bend over backwards to spoil movies in that show, but I am not going to walk on eggshells, okay, in order to avoid spoilers on the Thursday night show. I'm just going to say what I want to say about the movie, and if a spoiler slips out, it's going to bleh, all right? Hey, that's what happens on the Thursday show, and it's all right because I literally have the words spoiler warning in the title of the show right there. But I'd love to have you guys join me for that show right there, even if it's just for a little bit, all right? If it's 5-10 minutes or whatever, or 30 seconds or whatever. Hey, if you only got time to get in the live chat and just just give me a thumbs up, and then you got to vamoose and go off and do whatever else you need to do, or something like that. Hey, that's totally cool. All right, totally cool to do that. I know. I mean, like that Thursday night show especially goes like 2+ hours most nights. I know people don't have 2+ hours to invest in a Movies Merica show, okay? But so if you can give me like 5 minutes, it's all good right there. I definitely appreciate that big time right there, because that's what I try to do. You got Lindy Rig 87 and Beyond Formal in here, and I can't watch every minute of each of their episodes, but I get in there and I try to watch 5, 10, 15 minutes or whatever in there and get in the live chat, just to show some support. And especially since it's free of charge. Okay, there you go. Except for every once in a while, I'll throw a Rumble rant at them, and later on, you'll find out what a Rumble rant is if you don't know already, right there. But so Thursday night again, the Movies Merica Spoiler Warning Show about Sinners this week, and that comes on at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Mountain, and 4 p.m. Pacific this Thursday night. And you'll be able to get the links to that show like on Thursday morning, or you could just go to Rumble and look up Movies Merica on Thursday night, and you'll see the link to join the show on Thursday night through Rumble right there. And you can watch it through YouTube as well. It's on YouTube as well. Just look up Movies Merica Sinners on YouTube, and it should get you right to the episode on Thursday right there. There you go. Absolutely. And so what I always like to do, one of the things I always like to do here, another thing I always like to do on the Sunday show, the Movies Merica Live show, is I want to always warn you whether or not a movie is a woke after-school special. Now, do you guys remember after-school specials? I think you have to be kind of a certain age minimum to remember what an after-school special is, right? Okay, so like back in the 70s and 80s, after school, hence the name, they would have like these like half an hour to an hour shows on CBS, NBC, ABC, whatever. Back when you only had like 3-4 channels, before there was cable, or for the most part before there was cable, and there's definitely no YouTube, no Hulu, no Netflix back in the 70s and 80s, right? So you had like 3-4 channels, and on one of those 3 or 4 channels, they had these things called after-school specials, and they're like these cheesy, corny, like lecture learning kind of shows, about stuff like, if you're a kid in elementary school and little Johnny offers you a cigarette, you better say no. Or if someone hands you a beer and you're underage, you better turn down that Budweiser. Don't do it. And it's like a whole half hour to an hour, like cautionary tale show. That's just pure cheese the whole time right there. And so, but now, like after those versions of after school specials pretty much are dead. They're gone. They've gone the way of the Velociraptor, right? But now what we have here in the last 15, 20 years is those after school specials have been replaced by woke after school specials. Okay, meaning there's movies out there that they're marketed that they're movies. They're marketed like, oh, here's a new movie coming out. But really, when you watch a movie with all the woke preachiness in it, it's not a movie. It's a cheesy, corny, woke after school special. Not a movie. Okay. You can either be an entertaining movie or you can be a boring, woke after school special. You can never be both. Okay. And so to the point, okay, to the point, what you're waiting for, right? Like, Van, just get to it. Is Sinners a woke after school special? Well, is Joy Reid so ugly she routinely turns straight guys gay? Is Al Sharpton so racist he even blames something as simple as a foot itch on Whitey? I mean, that should be your answer right there. This movie is woke in that Coogler uses the vampire genre as another opportunity to just rip open the scab of intense, widespread, systemic racism back 90 plus years ago. Okay. Now, I'm not saying there's not racism nowadays, but it's not this intense, widespread, systemic racism that they had way back in the day. It's not near as much. I mean, nowadays, the demand for racism greatly outweighs the supply of racism. That's why a lot of people have to manufacture racism, right? So just see, Juicy Smollett or your Bubba Wallace, with the noose that was hanging in his garage on the NASCAR track, right? So you always hear a story here or there where, some city councilwoman was busted because she said that somebody left, a noose on her desk as a show of racism, and then it's found out like, no, she's the one that staged the noose there to create this false racist incident because they crave the victimhood, they crave it. So again, the demand for racism greatly outweighs the supply of racism. So they got to manufacture stuff right there. And again, like I said, I'm not saying there's zero racism in the world, because there will never, ever be zero racism in the world. Unless you have like this mind control device that controls all human minds in the world and eradicates racism in every mind of every person. And unless you have that, you'll always have racism to some degree in the world right there. But it's divisive. Sinners, it's divisive for no damn reason here in 2025. Other than Coogler obviously craves any chance to get another good one in at Whitey because, quite frankly, Coogler's a racist. All right? I said it, I mean it, and I'm not apologizing for it ever. Make this movie and then flip the races, and you will never work in Hollywood again. Rightfully so, all right? That would be wrong, too, to make a movie like Sinners and you have, like, the bad guys be all black and the good guys be all white. Like, no. That would be wrong as well. And I've always said my definition of woke is anything that seeks to divide people en route to knowingly or unknowingly being a part of a wider mission to divide and then destroy America. Now, I would guess that Coogler would fit in the unknowingly category, but who knows? Is Coogler's evil portrayal of the KKK in this movie historically inaccurate? No. They were a bunch of racist scumbags, no doubt, but you don't need to make a vampire movie that drums all that up again in an attempt to be divisive 90 plus years after the fact, all right? And then Coogler also drops in an allegory about white people stealing black people's music that is about as subtle as a Jasmine Crockett congressional temper tantrum. Now, it's rich that Coogler would awkwardly inject such an allegory as that in this movie, since he steals more than a few things from movies made by white people, and it just kind of just plunks them right into Sinners, all right? So, naughty, all right? But, so yeah, that's my warning of whether or not Sinners is a woke after-school special. And so, from what you heard right there, I do think it is a woke after-school special there, all right? So, but hey, you know what? Don't kill the messenger. Hey, the movie is what it is right there. So, but real quick here, just let me let you guys know that, hey, if you guys are digging what I'm saying and what you're seeing here enough to throw maybe a buck or two or three my way or whatever, okay? Well, you can do that in a couple of different ways. So if you're watching on Rumble, you can give me what's called a Rumble rant, and that's the tool that they provide to you to throw some money my way if you are so inclined. And so the way that you do a Rumble rant is down by where you type in your live chat message there, where you're typing your little message. There's a button with a $sign on it. You just got to click on that, and then it'll just ask you how much you want to donate to this guy right here. And that's it. Very easy, all right? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy right there. And then if you're watching me on YouTube, what they have for you as far as a tool to throw some money my way is they call it a super chat, okay? And it works very similarly to a Rumble rant. So down by where you type in your live chat message on YouTube, just click on the sign or the little button there that has a dollar bill on it. And when you click on that, it'll just ask you how much you want to throw my way. Very easy, okay? Very, very easy. And that is all you have to do right there. And that's only if you want to. I'm not going to be that guy that's going to guilt trip you here and do that there, because I can't always afford to do Rumble rants on other people's shows and that kind of thing. So, but when I can, I do just to show support. That means a little something more than just some words. Okay, all right, there you go. You gotta be like extreme. You gotta do more than words sometimes, and give them a little bit of that money that folds right there. So there you go. And speaking of which, we got I'm Sean Cav, one of the coolest gentlemen on Rumble right there. I'm Sean Cav joining the show, and he's throwing a $2 Rumble rant my way. $2, and I appreciate that. So very, very, very thankful to you for that right there. And he's like, "Am I doing this right? You've got it right. You've got it right. All right. So it don't get much righter than that. I'm Sean Cav, and so I'm going to drink to that." There you go. All right. Thanks a lot there, buddy, for that $2 Rumble rant there. And hey, again, don't let me be the only one drinking. All right, don't have me drinking alone. Grab yourself your beverages and drink along with me, because it is Sunday right there, and it's Easter Sunday. It's a time to celebrate, and I think the good Lord would want you to celebrate responsibly with maybe a boozy beverage, or hey, maybe you don't drink and you're tossing down a sweet tea or something like that. More power to you. It's all good right there. All right. So my final thoughts on Sinners here is, don't bother to go see this at the theater, right? So I mean, what I would do instead, honestly, is just watch From Dusk Till Dawn or Near Dark instead. All right, they're better movies than this. Okay, now they're not as like their asses aren't quite as kissed as Sinners is, because again, if you look at the reviews of Sinners right there, oh my God, there's a lot of chapstick being applied. That is for sure right there. And if you want to see a movie about evil forces being interwoven into blues music, or like they do in Sinners, watch a movie that Ryan Coogler, again, the director of Sinners, clearly stole from, Crossroads, okay, from back in 1986 with Ralph Macchio and Joe Seneca, Jamie Gertz, all right. And Crossroads is directed by a gulp white man. Dun, dun, dun. And it's directed by a white man by the name of Walter Hill, okay, who did like 48 Hours and other acclaimed movies right there. But Crossroads, you're going to watch that and like, okay. Yeah, Coogler kind of stole this from that movie right there. So don't waste your money at the theater. Now, as much as I've dogged on Sinners, I will say, though, it is entertaining enough to watch when it comes out on streaming. Just know that it is a woke after-school special, and as long as you know that going into it ahead of time, you can just roll your eyes and just ignore that part of it, and then and appreciate the entertaining parts of it, like Miles Caton with his great blues guitar skills and his great voice. His voice is just chef's kiss. Fantastic. And Michael B. Jordan's performance is is pretty good. And then Jack O'Connell as Remick, the lead vampire, is entertaining enough. So again, all of that combined together makes it entertaining enough to watch it when it comes out on Hulu or Netflix or whenever that comes out on any of those streaming services right there. That is how that works. All right. So, all right, let's double check everything, make sure that we've got everything in order right here, because I like to run a tight ship here on this show. Pardon me. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And also, don't hesitate for a second to send the link to this episode to anybody that you even remotely suspect is into movies at all, or especially if they're into vampire movies, or if they want to know if a movie is a woke after-school special, right? Because you might be the one that saves them $15 a pop, $15 a person to, it's $15 a pop for a person to go see this movie and then walk out all depressed afterwards because they're like, oh God, if only somebody had warned me how woke this movie was. Well, you could be their savior. You could be the knight in shining armor. You send the link to this show right here, and then they watch the link that you sent them, and they might be, calling you up the next day and said, hey, thank God, thank you, Sean, or thanks, Lindy, thank you for sending me that link there, or whoever. You saved me all this money right there. And so I'm going to wait for it to come on Hulu. I'm not going to spend $150 at the theater to go take me and some friends there. Hell no, not going to do it. All right. So, and then also you can send a link to my Movies Merica page on Rumble. There it's pretty simple. It's rumble.com/moviesmerica. Very simple there. So check that out. And I'm trying to get up to 200 followers on Rumble here on the Movies Merica page on Rumble there. I'm one short from what I last seen right here. Let me hit refresh right there and see if we're up to 200 quite yet. Nope. Just still stubbornly at that 199 right there. I tell you, that's 199. And so yeah. But unfortunately, I'm not like I'm not one of those creators on Rumble. I'm not like a smoking hot chick, so I can't be like, hey, follow me. And then you got a bunch of thirsty dudes like following you instantaneously. Or I'm not like Tim Pool or, who's that other guy? This guy, Dr. Disrespect. And I can't go, hey, everybody follow me. And next thing you know, my follow count goes up from, 10,000 to 11,000 instantaneously now. But I do what I can there. That's for sure. All right. But I just appreciate everybody who joined here this episode here today. And like I always say, get out there, people. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves. See you.
Fuck you, Ian.
Howdy, my movie maniacs and my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics. Would you do me a favor and check me out at solo.to/moviesmerica? That's where you would go for a one-stop shop for all the links that have to do with me, Movies Merica. And then also, if you want to check out the audio-only podcast versions of my Movies Merica live episodes, that's my spoiler-free reviews that I do on Sunday, you can go to moviesmerica.com or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, places like that. And then, actually, if you would also check me out on the social media sites like X and Instagram and Facebook and Gab. And I'm on those locations all under @Movies Merica. So it is very easy to find me out there. All right. So get to it, everybody. All right. Thanks for watching. Later.
Fuck you, Ian.
Make sure you check out solo.to/The Whiskey Capitalist for all of our links and ways to stay up to date with me.
I'm kind of retarded.
And Casey, the soundboard lord.
Dwight, you ignorant slut!
We do our show, The Whiskey Capitalist Podcast, every Monday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, where we talk trending news, politics, pop culture, and whatever weird shit we come up with that day. So if any of that sounds like fun, make sure you check us out. We are also on Instagram and X. Wait, we're not on Instagram because that platform sucks.
Dang.
We're on X at Whiskey Cap Pod. Probably here somewhere. Go check it out and stay up to date with us, and make sure you check us out on Rumble, on all the places where you're supposed to find us, or just go to solo.to/The Whiskey Capitalist.
Come on, man.
For all of the links. Yeah. Bye.
Fuck you, Ian.
Find me on Rumble at Soundboard Lord, Monday through Fridays, about 10 a.m. Thursday nights, we're going to start doing horror nights, and you can blurp me to scare the shit out of me and all that fun stuff. Do it. Horror.
Fuck you, Ian.
What's going on, guys? Make sure you check out solo.to/tilldeathpodcast for the podcast that I do with my wife Jen every other Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, where we talk about married life, husband and wife issues. Not that we have any issues, because we have a perfect marriage. Also, we talk about healthy living, healthy eating, and don't worry, we're not vegans. Those guys are weird. We also talk about weird stories and funny stuff that we find on the internet. We do funny videos at the very end. It's a whole lot of fun. If all of that seems like something that you want to watch, then make sure you check it out. Like I said, every other Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. And check out the link that we have below right here for our X and Instagram. It is at Till Death Podcast, podcast without the vowel. So TILDEATHPDCST. And hope we see you there. See you later, guys.
Try to relax your anus.
Fuck you, Ian. It's not that hard. Right there. It's right there. Just read it. Follow me on Twitter at SoundboardLord. Fuck you, Ian.
Hey guys, don't leave the video quite yet. Okay, I've got a popo. They're coming after me, and I don't have much time to tell you, but you need to like and subscribe this video right here, down below. It's right down there. It's just waiting. It's waiting for you down there, okay? And make sure you watch these videos over here too. You'll be doing me a big favor. I'm gonna be in handcuffs pretty soon. All right, thanks for watching.